World War II, the deadliest conflict in human history, claimed over 70 million lives. It was a global catastrophe that reshaped the world, leaving an indelible mark on politics, society, and technology. From 1939 to 1945, the world witnessed unimaginable brutality, technological innovation, and the rise and fall of empires. This essay will delve into the pivotal moments of World War II, exploring its devastating impact on humanity and its role in shaping the modern world. World War II was a transformative event that engulfed the globe in a maelstrom of violence and destruction. It was a conflict born from the ashes of World War I, fueled by unresolved tensions, economic instability, and the rise of totalitarian regimes in Europe and Asia. The seeds of conflict were sown in the Treaty of Versailles, which imposed harsh penalties on Germany, breeding resentment and instability. The global economic depression of the 1930s further exacerbated these tensions, creating fertile ground for extremist ideologies. The rise of Adolf Hitler in Germany and the militaristic expansionism of Japan created a dangerous axis of power that threatened global stability. Hitler's Nazi ideology, based on racial supremacy and territorial expansion, sought to establish German dominance over Europe. Japan, driven by its own imperial ambitions, sought to expand its influence in Asia. These aggressive ideologies, coupled with the failure of diplomacy and appeasement, ultimately led to the outbreak of war in 1939. The invasion of Poland by Germany on September 1, 1939, marked the beginning of World War II. This act of aggression shattered the fragile peace that had prevailed in Europe since the end of World War I. Britain and France, bound by treaties to defend Poland, declared war on Germany 2 days later. The world was once again plunged into a global conflict, a conflict that would last for 6 long and bloody years. The rise of totalitarian regimes in the 1930s played a crucial role in the outbreak of World War II. In Germany, Adolf Hitler's Nazi Party rose to power by exploiting economic hardship, social divisions, and nationalist sentiment. Hitler's charismatic leadership and his promises of national revival resonated with a disillusioned German population. The Nazi ideology, based on racial purity and territorial expansion, quickly gained traction, transforming Germany into a militarized state bent on conquest. In Italy, Benito Mussolini's fascist regime emerged in the aftermath of World War I, promising order and stability in a time of political and economic turmoil. Mussolini's ideology, characterized by extreme nationalism, militarism, and the suppression of individual liberties, resonated with many Italians who yearned for a strong leader. Italy's expansionist ambitions in Africa and the Mediterranean further fueled tensions in Europe, contributing to the growing instability that led to war. In Japan, militaristic leaders seized control of the government, driven by a belief in Japanese racial superiority and a desire for imperial expansion. Japan's ambitions in Asia, fueled by its growing industrial and military might, clashed with the interests of other powers in the region, particularly the United States and the Soviet Union. Japan's aggression in China, marked by brutal atrocities and territorial expansion, further destabilized the international order and set the stage for a wider conflict. The rise of these totalitarian regimes, fueled by aggressive ideologies and expansionist ambitions, created a dangerous climate of fear and mistrust in the 1930s. The failure of diplomacy and appeasement to curb their ambitions ultimately led to the outbreak of war in 1939, plunging the world into a conflict of unprecedented scale and devastation. World War II was a global conflict, fought across multiple continents and theaters of war. From the beaches of Normandy to the jungles of the Pacific, the war witnessed a series of decisive battles that shaped its course and ultimately determined its outcome. These battles were not only clashes of military might, but also testaments to human courage, resilience, and the devastating consequences of war. The Battle of Britain, fought in the skies over England in 1940, was a pivotal moment in the early stages of the war. The German Luftwaffe, seeking to establish air superiority over Britain, launched a relentless bombing campaign against British cities and airfields. However, the Royal Air Force, aided by radar technology and the bravery of its pilots, successfully repelled the German onslaught, preventing a German invasion of Britain and marking a turning point in the war. The Battle of Stalingrad, fought in the ruins of the Soviet city of Stalingrad from 1942 to 1943, was one of the bloodiest battles in human history. The German Sixth Army, tasked with capturing the strategically important city, became bogged down in a brutal urban warfare campaign against determined Soviet defenders. The battle raged for months, claiming the lives of hundreds of thousands of soldiers on both sides. Ultimately, the Soviets prevailed, encircling and destroying the German Sixth Army, marking a decisive turning point on the Eastern Front. The Normandy landings, also known as D-Day, on June 6, 1944, marked the beginning of the Allied liberation of Western Europe. The largest seaborne invasion in history, involving over 150,000 Allied troops, stormed the beaches of Normandy, France, facing fierce resistance from German defenders. Despite heavy casualties, the Allies established a foothold in France, paving the way for the liberation of Paris and the eventual defeat of Germany. These battles, along with countless others fought across the globe, shaped the course of World War II. They showcased the strategic brilliance of military commanders, the technological advancements of the era, and the immense sacrifices made by soldiers and civilians alike. The human cost of these battles was staggering, with millions of lives lost and countless others forever scarred by the horrors of war. World War II witnessed an unprecedented acceleration of technological innovation, driven by the urgent need to gain an advantage on the battlefield. From radar to the atomic bomb, technological advancements played a crucial role in shaping the course of the war and its devastating consequences. These innovations, while born out of necessity, left a lasting legacy that continues to influence the world today. Radar, a revolutionary technology that allowed for the detection of aircraft and ships, played a crucial role in the Battle of Britain, enabling the Royal Air Force to effectively counter German air raids. The development of radar, along with advances in aircraft design and engine technology, transformed aerial warfare, making it a decisive factor in the outcome of the war. The development of the atomic bomb, a weapon of unimaginable destructive power, marked a turning point in human history. The Manhattan Project, a top-secret research and development undertaking by the United States, culminated in the creation of the first atomic bombs, which were used against the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in August 1945. The atomic bombings, while controversial and devastating, brought a swift end to the war in the Pacific, ushering in the atomic age and forever altering the nature of warfare. The advancements in medicine and surgery during World War II also had a profound impact on civilian life. The development of antibiotics, such as penicillin, revolutionized the treatment of bacterial infections, saving countless lives on the battlefield and beyond. The wartime need for blood transfusions led to advances in blood typing and storage, paving the way for modern blood banks. These technological advancements, while driven by the exigencies of war, had far-reaching consequences that extended beyond the battlefield. They transformed warfare, revolutionized medicine, and ushered in the atomic age, leaving an indelible mark on the world and shaping the course of human history. The Holocaust, the systematic genocide of 6 million Jews by Nazi Germany and its collaborators during World War II, stands as one of the darkest chapters in human history. The Nazis, driven by their ideology of racial purity and hatred, implemented a plan to eliminate Jews from Europe, targeting them for persecution, imprisonment, and extermination. This horrific crime against humanity remains a stark reminder of the dangers of extremism, prejudice, and the fragility of human rights. The Holocaust was a meticulously planned and executed genocide, carried out through a network of concentration camps, extermination camps, and mobile killing squads. Jews were rounded up from their homes, stripped of their possessions, and transported to these camps where they faced unimaginable horrors. Many were subjected to forced labor, starvation, and medical experimentation, while others were murdered outright in gas chambers. The scale and brutality of the Holocaust defied comprehension. Families were torn apart, communities were decimated, and millions of innocent lives were extinguished. The Nazis' attempt to eradicate an entire people based solely on their religion stands as a chilling testament to the depths of human depravity and the devastating consequences of unchecked hatred. The Holocaust serves as a stark reminder of the fragility of human rights and the importance of vigilance against intolerance and discrimination. It is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit in the face of unimaginable suffering, and a call to action to prevent such atrocities from ever happening again. The memory of the Holocaust must serve as a constant reminder of the need to protect the vulnerable, uphold human dignity, and fight against all forms of hatred and extremism. The atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in August 1945, which brought a swift end to World War II, remain one of the most controversial events in human history. The use of these weapons of mass destruction, while ending the war and potentially saving lives in the long run, resulted in the deaths of hundreds of thousands of Japanese civilians and left a lasting legacy of physical and psychological trauma. The decision to use atomic bombs was a complex one, driven by a desire to end the war quickly, avoid a costly invasion of Japan, and demonstrate American military power in the emerging post-war world. However, the moral implications of using such devastating weapons against civilian populations remain a subject of intense debate. The atomic bombings ushered in the atomic age, a new era defined by the potential for unimaginable destruction and the precarious balance of nuclear deterrence. The bombings also had profound political and geopolitical consequences, shaping the post-war world and leading to the Cold War rivalry between the United States and the Soviet Union. The legacy of the atomic bombings is a complex and multifaceted one. They serve as a reminder of the devastating power of nuclear weapons and the importance of nuclear non-proliferation. They also raise profound ethical questions about the use of force, the limits of warfare, and the responsibility of nations to protect civilian populations. The atomic bombings remain a stark reminder of the potential for human destruction and the urgent need to find peaceful solutions to international conflicts. The aftermath of World War II left the world transformed, both physically and ideologically. The war had devastated entire continents, leaving millions dead and countless others displaced and traumatized. The global balance of power had shifted dramatically, with the rise of the United States and the Soviet Union as superpowers. The world was grappling with the horrific legacy of the Holocaust and the dawn of the atomic age. The war had left a trail of physical destruction across Europe and Asia. Cities lay in ruins, infrastructure was decimated, and economies were shattered. The task of rebuilding was immense, requiring international cooperation and massive financial investments. The Marshall Plan, a US-led initiative to aid in the economic recovery of Europe, played a crucial role in stabilizing the continent and preventing the spread of communism. The war had also resulted in a profound ideological shift. The horrors of the Holocaust and the use of atomic bombs had shaken faith in human progress and the Enlightenment ideals of reason and rationality. The post-war world was marked by a sense of disillusionment, a questioning of traditional values, and a search for new meaning and purpose. The war had also given rise to new international organizations, such as the United Nations, aimed at preventing future conflicts and promoting international cooperation. The UN, founded on the principles of peace, security, and human rights, represented a hopeful vision for a world scarred by war. However, the emerging rivalry between the United States and the Soviet Union, each with its own ideological and geopolitical ambitions, cast a shadow over the post-war world, setting the stage for the Cold War. The Cold War, a new global struggle. Emerging in the aftermath of World War II, The Cold War was a geopolitical rivalry between the United States and the Soviet Union that dominated international relations for nearly half a century. The two superpowers, each with its own ideological system and sphere of influence, engaged in a global struggle for dominance, characterized by proxy wars, espionage, and the constant threat of nuclear annihilation. Rooted in ideological differences, the capitalist United States championed democratic principles and free market economies, seeking to contain communism, which it viewed as a threat to global stability. On the other hand, the communist Soviet Union, promoting a Marxist-Leninist ideology based on state control of the economy and the suppression of individual liberties, sought to expand its influence and challenge American hegemony. The Cold War saw proxy wars in places like Korea and Vietnam, and numerous other conflicts in Africa, Asia, and Latin America, which became battlegrounds for this ideological struggle. Additionally, an intense arms race ensued, with both superpowers developing increasingly sophisticated nuclear weapons and delivery systems, creating a constant threat of mutually assured destruction. This period was marked by high tension and uncertainty, with the world living under the shadow of nuclear war. The Cuban Missile Crisis of 1962, where the United States and the Soviet Union came perilously close to nuclear war, highlighted the fragility of peace and the devastating potential of nuclear weapons. The Cold War also profoundly impacted global politics, culture, and society, shaping the world in ways that continue to resonate today. The rise of superpowers. The aftermath of World War II witnessed the emergence of the United States and the Soviet Union as superpowers, each wielding immense political, economic, and military power. These two nations, victorious in the war but ideologically opposed, shaped the global order for decades to come, their rivalry defining the Cold War era. The United States, emerging from the war relatively unscathed, possessed a powerful industrial base, a strong military, and a stable democratic system. Its economic and military might, coupled with its commitment to containing the spread of communism, made it a leading force in the post-war world. The United States played a key role in the reconstruction of Europe and Japan, establishing a network of alliances and military bases around the world to counter Soviet influence. Despite suffering enormous losses during the war, the Soviet Union emerged as a major military power with a vast territory and abundant natural resources. Its communist ideology, control over Eastern Europe, and ambition to challenge American dominance made it a formidable opponent in the Cold War. The Soviet Union invested heavily in its military, developed nuclear weapons, and supported communist movements around the world, seeking to expand its sphere of influence. The rise of these two superpowers created a bipolar world, dividing nations into two opposing camps. This bipolar world order, while providing a degree of stability through a balance of power, also carried the constant threat of nuclear war and fostered an atmosphere of suspicion and mistrust. Social and cultural impacts. World War II had a profound impact on societies around the world, transforming social norms, cultural values, and the fabric of everyday life. The war's legacy extended far beyond the battlefield, influencing gender roles, racial dynamics, and the relationship between citizens and their governments. The war effort mobilized entire societies, with women taking on new roles in factories and shipyards, filling the void left by men who had gone to fight. This wartime experience challenged traditional gender roles, paving the way for greater female participation in the workforce and the women's rights movement that gained momentum in the post-war era. The war also had a significant impact on racial dynamics. The horrors of the Holocaust exposed the dangers of racism and intolerance, leading to a greater awareness of racial equality and the need to combat discrimination. The civil rights movement in the United States, inspired in part by the wartime struggle against fascism, gained momentum in the post-war years, challenging segregation and demanding equal rights for African Americans. The war also transformed the relationship between citizens and their governments. The wartime need for national unity and the mobilization of resources led to an expansion of government power, and a greater role for the state in people's lives. This trend continued in the post-war era, with governments taking on greater responsibility for social welfare, economic management, and national security. The social and cultural impacts of World War II were far-reaching and enduring. The war challenged traditional norms, sparked new social movements, and transformed the relationship between citizens and their governments, leaving a lasting legacy that continues to shape societies today. The enduring legacy of WW2. World War II, the deadliest conflict in human history, continues to cast a long shadow over the world, its legacy shaping international relations, technological advancements, and our understanding of human nature. The war's lessons, both inspiring and cautionary, serve as a constant reminder of the fragility of peace, the dangers of extremism, and the importance of international cooperation. The war's legacy is evident in the international institutions established in its aftermath, such as the United Nations, designed to prevent future conflicts and promote global cooperation. The creation of the UN, along with other international organizations, reflected a collective desire to avoid the horrors of another world war and to find peaceful solutions to international disputes. The war's technological legacy is also profound. The development of radar, jet engines, and other wartime innovations transformed warfare and had far-reaching implications for civilian life. The atomic bomb, a terrifying symbol of the war's destructive power, ushered in the nuclear age, forever altering the nature of warfare and the balance of global power. Perhaps most importantly, World War II left an enduring legacy on our understanding of human nature. The horrors of the Holocaust, the brutality of war crimes, and the use of weapons of mass destruction challenged our faith in human progress and forced us to confront the dark side of human nature. The war's legacy serves as a constant reminder of the dangers of intolerance, the importance of protecting human rights, and the need to strive for a more peaceful and just world. World War II, while a tragic chapter in human history, also offers valuable lessons for the future. Its legacy underscores the importance of diplomacy, the fragility of peace, and the need for international cooperation to address global challenges. The war's enduring legacy serves as a reminder of the human capacity for both good and evil, and the importance of choosing the path of peace, justice, and understanding.